A showman, a fighter, a legend. He wasn't just a boxer, he was an electrifying performer who redefined what it meant to be a fighter. Naseem Hamed, the flamboyant, unorthodox, and incredibly powerful featherweight who took the boxing world by storm. With his gravity-defying entrances, unparalleled confidence, and knockout power, he wasn't just an athlete, he was a spectacle. From the streets of Sheffield to the grandest arenas of the world, Prince Naseem Hamed shattered expectations, blending arrogance with excellence in a way that only he could. But was he just an entertainer? Or was he one of the most gifted fighters to ever step inside the squared circle? Let's dive into the incredible career of Naseem Hamed and find out. The early days. A star is born in 1974. In Sheffield, England, to Yemeni parents, Naseem Hamed's journey to boxing greatness was anything but ordinary. He grew up in a working-class family, but from an early age, he displayed an unshakable confidence that set him apart. It wasn't just talk, he had the skills to back it up. Under the guidance of legendary trainer Brendan Ingle, Hamed developed his unique fighting style, hands down, chin up, and lightning-fast reflexes. It was risky, but it worked. His unorthodox approach made him nearly impossible to hit, while his power turned every punch into a potential knockout blow. By the time he turned professional at just 18 years old, he was already destined for greatness. Hamed's early career was a showcase of dominance. His speed, agility, and unorthodox movements left opponents bewildered. But it wasn't just his skills that made him a sensation. It was his showmanship. With every fight, his entrances became more elaborate, his trash talk more outrageous, and his knockouts more spectacular. The world had never seen anything like him. One of the earliest signs of his incredible potential came in his amateur career. Even as a teenager, Hamed demonstrated an ability to predict and counter his opponent's movements with precision, often ending fights with one swift, brutal punch. His training sessions were legendary as he spent hours perfecting his reflexes, making himself faster, sharper, and more elusive. His natural talent was undeniable, and those who watched him train knew he was something special. The rise of Prince Naseem. Power meets showmanship. Hamed's rise to stardom was meteoric. In 1995, he captured his first world title, the WBO Featherweight Championship, by knocking out Steve Robinson in front of Robinson's home crowd in Wales. It was a masterclass performance that announced his arrival on the world stage. From there, Hamed took on and dismantled a series of top contenders, including Manuel Medina, Tom Johnson, and Kevin Kelly. His fight against Kelly in 1997 was one of the most thrilling featherweight battles of all time, with both men hitting the canvas multiple times before Hamed secured a dramatic fourth-round knockout. It was fights like these that made Prince Naseem must-watch TV. But it wasn't just his power that set him apart. It was his aura. His entrances were as much a part of the event as the fight itself. Whether he was flying into the ring on a magic carpet, dancing to Michael Jackson, or backflipping over the ropes, Hamed knew how to put on a show. He was more than just a boxer. He was a performer, an entertainer, and a superstar. His signature fighting stance, where he kept his hands low and relied on head movement to evade punches, baffled opponents. It defied traditional boxing fundamentals, yet it worked flawlessly for him. His movements were unpredictable, his angles deceptive, and his punches, often thrown from unorthodox positions, carried knockout power. Outside the ring, Hamed became a media sensation. He was outspoken, cocky, and never shied away from confrontation. He famously predicted knockouts before fights and made a habit of taunting his opponents in and out of the ring. But while many viewed him as arrogant, others saw him as a breath of fresh air in a sport that often lacked personality. The unstoppable force. a reign of knockouts. By the late 1990s, Hamed was one of the most feared and financially successful fighters in the world. He held multiple world titles across different organizations, including the WBO, IBF, and WBC featherweight championships. His confidence bordered on arrogance, but he had earned the right to be cocky. He was knocking out nearly everyone he faced. His list of victims included Wayne McCullough, Wilfredo Vazquez, Paul Ingle, and Vuyani Bungu. And with each fight, his legend grew. His punches were deceptively powerful for a featherweight, and his reflexes made him almost untouchable. Opponents would swing at him, only to miss wildly and find themselves flat on the canvas seconds later. Hamed was also breaking financial records. He became one of the highest-paid featherweights in history, with major pay-per-view deals and a contract with HBO that solidified his superstar status. While many saw his flamboyant antics as a way to hype up fights, there was no denying that his talent was real. Even legendary boxing trainers admitted that Hamed possessed a rare combination of power, speed, and precision that made him a formidable fighter. His knockout rate was unusually high for a featherweight, proving that he wasn't just a showman. He was a devastating finisher. One of his most memorable performances came against Vuyani Bungu in 2000, where he delivered a stunning fourth-round knockout that left fans in awe. His punching power was almost supernatural for his weight class, and his ability to land devastating blows from unorthodox angles made him one of the most exciting fighters to watch. Beyond his in-ring success, Hamed's fame extended beyond boxing. He made numerous appearances on television shows, commercials, and even inspired young fighters to adopt a more flamboyant and unpredictable style. His bravado, combined with his ability to back it up, made him a pop culture icon. The Barrera fight, a reality check by 2001, Hamed had conquered the featherweight division and was considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But in April of that year, he stepped into the ring against Marco Antonio Barrera, a seasoned warrior with a relentless fighting style. For the first time in his career, Hamed's cockiness was met with calculated discipline. Barrera fought a perfect fight, neutralizing Hamed's unorthodox style with precision, aggression, and tactical brilliance. Hamed found himself outboxed, outworked, and ultimately outclassed. He suffered his first and only career loss by unanimous decision. The defeat was a humbling moment. For years, Hamed had made a career out of making elite fighters look foolish. But on that night, he was the one left searching for answers. Many expected him to come back stronger, but he never fully recovered from the loss. Some analysts believe that Hamed underestimated Barrera, failing to prepare as rigorously as he had for previous fights. Others argue that Barrera had simply devised the perfect strategy to neutralize Hamed's strengths. Regardless, the fight exposed some of Hamed's weaknesses, his reliance on reflexes over traditional defensive techniques, and his struggles against methodical, disciplined fighters. Hamed's performance against Barrera lacked the explosiveness that had defined his career. His footwork seemed slower, his confidence slightly shaken. Though he showed resilience by lasting all 12 rounds, the loss raised questions about his ability to adapt to adversity. After the fight, Hamed vowed to return, but the fire that had once fueled his career seemed to flicker. His trademark swagger was still there, but something had changed. Whether it was the weight of expectations, the sting of defeat, or simply a shift in priorities, the prince's reign was nearing its end. The end of an era. After the Barrera fight, Hamed fought only once more, securing a lackluster decision win over Manuel Calvo in 2002. Though he won, the magic was gone. The confidence, the energy, the hunger, it just wasn't the same. Shortly after, he shocked the boxing world by announcing his retirement at just 28 years old. Why did he walk away so soon? Some say the loss to Barrera shattered his confidence. Others believe he had simply lost the motivation to fight. Whatever the reason, his exit left fans wondering what could have been. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Manny Pacquiao's incredible journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification so you never miss another story about the legends who changed the game. Catch you in the next one.